Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Superman and Lois Season 3 review series. And today I am going to be talking about episode 6 of Sound Mind, which I have just finished watching, and what more can be said that hasn't been said already. Once again, Superman and Lois continues to do what it does best, and that's deliver yet again another top-notch episode. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep on saying it until I'm proved otherwise. Superman and Lois, as of right now, is the best damn DC show going. Period. Try and change my mind. That's all I'm going to say. Try and change my mind. Absolutely loving this show and continues to keep getting better and better every single week. So, I'm going to give a quick recap of what's happened so far, and then after that, we're just going to get straight into it and talk about episode 6. So, as we saw previously in episode 5, we saw mostly Clark trying to lend his support to Lois, who is undergoing chemotherapy for her breast cancer. And we also got to see Clark talk to various chemo patients. And Lois is going in for her treatment at Hobbs Bay in Bruno Mannheim's clinic, which everybody was dead against. And we also saw in episode 5 Superman defeated Deadline, and that was due to the fact that several DoD facilities were sent to Intergang, and we also saw Kyle and Chrissy hook up, and we also saw at the end of episode 5, Bruno Mannheim and his team recovered the body of Bizarro. So, what plans do they have for Bizarro's body? Who knows? Maybe they might attempt to make a new clone of Bizarro, because technically, although Bizarro is a clone of Superman, he's not actually created from Superman. He's from the inverse world, Bizarro world, shall we say. So that's how we pretty much left episode 5. We were left with a cliffhanger, and we saw, as I said, Bruno Mannheim has Bizarro's body, so we don't really know what's going to happen there. But a very good way to end episode 5, in my opinion. So, with that all said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about episode 6 of Sound Mind. So, we kick things off for episode 6 with Clark Kent joining a counseling group as the weight of Lois's diagnosis really begins to weigh on him as he attempts to connect with significant others who are going through the same thing he is going through. We see the head counselor tell everyone a story about her own husband and having to say goodbye to him. And it freaks Clark Kent so much that he ends up walking out and telling Lois that he won't be going back. After some thought and a conversation with Lois later on, Clark decides to give it another chance and admits to the counselor his fears of having to say goodbye to his wife. Now he wants to make sure that he can be the person she needs as well as be there for his sons. It's very interesting to see Clark freak out the way he does because, Superman has always been known as a fearless guy. Nothing can hurt him except maybe kryptonite and maybe magic, depending on what you read. But, we're so used to seeing Clark super confident, nothing can hurt him, and he's very optimistic about everything. So to see him actually freak out the way he does is very interesting, and it really shows you a more vulnerable side to him that we wouldn't normally see because he's so used to saving everyone, and the fact that he can't actually save Lois this time because of cancer really wears him down. So I'm loving what they're doing here. We're really nitpicking the emotional side of both Clark and Superman. They both want to save Lois, but they can't, and they don't really know how to. So I think It's very well done the way they've done that. So we see it's time for Jonathan's first day at the fire station, and he puts on the uniform loaned to him from Carl Cushion. It belonged to a man named Rusty, who, according to the crew, died in those clothes. Okay. Clark and Lois laugh and shake their heads as he heads out, as they laugh at the fact that the suit is 3 or 4 sizes too big. At the station, Kyle puts him to work cleaning the fire truck. Jordan, on the other hand, has been exceeding at his training at the fortress, and he feels he's ready to go out on his own to assist his dad, but Clark doesn't think he's ready yet. However, Lois sends him out to save people in a flood, and when he comes home, Clark is ready to yell at him about it when she said it was her idea to let him go and save people. So Clark says if he thinks he's ready, they'll train together. Clark takes him to the fortress and throws challenges at him that he's doing very well with, but Clark continues to shoot him with hologram heat vision lasers. Jordan grows frustrated, but Clark is trying to be realistic. This is what could happen in the real situation. People won't stop trying to hurt him. Jordan tells him that he thinks his dad is just scared and he doesn't want someone else with powers saving the world. Well, that's not entirely true. Meanwhile, we see Onomatope lures Superman into a trap by using Lois's voice to call for help. He rushes over there and looks for her, only to find Onomatope waiting for him. They use the powers to incapacitate him while people shoot him down with kryptonite lasers to wear him out. Lois comes home and Jordan asks her if she's okay because they heard her crying for help. Once they realise it wasn't her, she makes him listen for his dad. Superman eventually cries out in pain and agony, and Lois tells him he has to save his dad. Jordan tells her he said that his dad isn't ready, but Lois says, "Well, prove him wrong. Go out there and show him you can do it." And we see Jordan rushes over and knocks down the men with lasers and tries to go after Onomatope, who knocks him over as the men continue their work to wear down Superman. One of the men with the kryptonite guns shoots him in the chest, and Superman screams out in anger and takes out all of the men and Onomatope. He rushes to Jordan's side and tries to wake him up as Jordan gasps for air. The kryptonite doesn't seem to affect him like it does Clark. Interesting. We see Sophie has been trying to spend more time with her parents, but it always seems they're too busy for her. As Jonathan comes over to study with Sarah, Kyle is heading out to meet Chrissy. Sophie enters the living room and asks where their dad is, but Sarah gives her quick answers. Sophie is hungry, but as she looks in the fridge, there's nothing to eat, so she leaves. A little while later, Lana comes and asks where Sophie is, but once Sarah tells her she sent her to get food, and it's been over an hour, they all start to panic. They cover ground all over Smallville when Lana heads into the gas station to see if she's there when she finds Kyle. She yells at him because she's been trying to contact him, but he hasn't answered, and now Sophie is missing. He was supposed to be watching her, but according to him, he was on a hike. Lana finds that odd, considering that he's never done hiking in the 20 years she's known him. She notices he keeps looking off to the side, so she looks round the corner and finds Chrissy there. She shakes her head and goes to find Sophie herself. Sarah and John find Sophie sitting on a ledge all alone at the football field. Jonathan goes over to talk to her and about his own feelings of why feeling alone and how he tried to convince his parents to let him move back to Metropolis. He tells her that sometimes he took his feelings out on his brother when things got tough. He always had Jonathan's back. Sophie tells him that it's his family, not hers. He doesn't care about her. He looks over to worried Kyle and Sarah and says he highly doubts it. They come running over and embrace her. Sarah thanks John, and Kyle tells them there's maybe a new shirt in his future for this. Not bad. Lois has lunch with Pierre at a restaurant near Hobbs Bay. They talk about Bruno Mannheim and everything he's done for the city, but Lois wants to know where the money came from. Pierre doesn't want to fight her, but brings up all he's done with the hospital and the lives he's been saving, including hers and Lois's. It's hard for her to imagine them doing things but that could hurt people when they caught things her first team didn't. Lois apologizes and tells her that she's right. Lois also divulges about how whenever Lois says she may die from cancer, Clark doesn't want to hear it. Pierre tells her that it's a reality they have to face and live with every day, but for everyone else, they won't really understand. We also see Kyle and Chrissy, after sneaking around, finally decide to go public, and Kyle very cheesily asks Chrissy, "Will you be my girlfriend?" Which, of course, Chrissy says yes. And then we see at the end of the episode, Onomatopoeia is visibly exhausted from taking on both Superman and Jordan, as Onomatopoeia shows up at Bruno Mannheim's lair and state they can't do this anymore. Onomatopoeia peels their mask off to reveal it's none other than Pierre, the chemo patient that Lois has been talking and bonding with, and she says she can feel herself getting weaker. Bruno Mannheim promises that he's going to make sure she gets better. And that's how we end episode 6. One thing I do love about this show, and they did it again, is the twists. You know, every time you think you've got everything figured out, they throw you a curveball. They always surprise you. Pierre being onomatopoeia is the last person I would have not expected. I did not see that coming. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Why is she working for Bruno Mannheim? Who knows? But wow, definitely did not see that coming at all. But overall, this was an amazing episode. And as I said at the beginning, Superman and Lois continues to deliver, and it's the best DC show right now. Jordan looks like he could be pushing to become the new Superboy for the show, perhaps. Look like it's heading that way, especially the fact that kryptonite doesn't hurt him, so that's interesting. But yeah, I absolutely loved this. The Lana, Kyle, and Chrissy thing, it's okay. Don't care much for it, but it's not too much in the way, so I can live with that. Didn't take anything away from this episode at all, but feel it's a little bit unnecessary. But other than that, you know, it is fine. As long as it's not too much of the main focus of season 3, I'm good with that. So it's all good. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on episode 6? Did you enjoy it? How did you react to Onomatopoeia being revealed to be Pierre? Did you see it coming? Why is she working for Bruno Mannheim? Has he been doing experiments on her? What did she mean when she said she could feel herself getting weaker? And also, what about Jordan? Do you think he's ready to become his own hero? Is it possible he could become the Superboy for the show? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Superman and Lois Season 3 review series, where I am going to be talking about episode 7, which I am very much looking forward to seeing, especially with the way this episode ended with this shocking twist. Looking forward to seeing where that goes from there, and I'm wondering where Bizarro fits into all of this, and can't wait to talk about it. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.